website, which it often isn't. Go to Wikipedia. You can also get a fairly good summary there. So a couple of sites I like. The good news is that if you can communicate well in the written word or in the spoken word, you're 99% of the way there. A friend of mine named Drew Curtis, who runs a site called Mark.com, when asked what Web 3.0 was, he said, good editing. Most of the content of it is crap. So if you can create good content, you're 99% of the way there. A few of the services I recommend at least looking at. Don't get obsessed with big, but it's good to use it as a tool. BIGG.com. Generally, politics, tech, funny videos, a few other things are going to dominate big.com. But what it is absolutely exceptional for is learning what types of headlines work well. Because that is what's selling in the click. So big.com, stumbleupon.com is another outstanding site. Like I mentioned, Delicious. I don't know where the dots are on that. I think you just go to delicious.com. I think they did buy that URL. It's a social bookmarking tool. Also very useful. If you go to my site, not self-promote, but I will. If you search social media, there are a number of posts that I've done related to social media ROI. So how do you know it's working? Exposure, awareness, that's garbage. Those are nebulous garbage terms, generally. I want to know action sales. That's one of my most important metrics. Revenue per customer, average cost per acquisition, things like that. So if you search social media on my blog, the4hourblog.com, I look at a number of examples related both to the book, and these results are replicable. And I know that because I've used the same principles elsewhere. So I ran a social media fundraising experiment for public schools in the U.S. I don't know if anybody here knows DonorsChoose.org, the National Advisory for Donors Choose, and also do a lot of room to read. And using the same tools that I was talking about, I actually use WordPress.com. It's another good site to look at. I recommend start building. You can use Typepad, you can Google. I use WordPress in my case. I built a site called Lit Liberation, LIT, liberation.org. I built it in a few hours in a coffee shop in Bratislava and launched it with a few components, competition, social media tools, almost zero cost, and outraised. Stephen Colbert was doing the same thing, although via television, and outraised Stephen Colbert about 3x. That's when I already took what I learned in the book and put it to work for something else. But if you look at that site, you'll see exactly what it did. You'll see exactly how this was together. But on the blog itself, I look at all the numbers that I tracked to see what worked and what wasn't. And I think that's also a very good place to start. There are many different thinkers, many different figures who are involved in social media and write a lot about social media. ProBlogger.net has a lot on blogs. There's some people who make their living at discussing various tools. Chris Brogan, BROGAN, is another. There is a younger player named, very well known on Dig. He's a power user on Dig, Mohammed Salim, SALEEM. He's actually the one who helped me get the Geek to Freak post on the homepage because people follow what he submits. He's a trusted user, in other words. Those would be a few starting points, I would say.
Basically, DIY approach as opposed to going and taking some course about building a blog.
I don't know of any courses offhand. They may be out there, but I'm not familiar with any courses offhand. I believe that Mohammed Salim was at one point going to create an introduction to social media, tool 1, tool 2, tool 3. Facebook would be another. I don't worry too much about MySpace. Bistro, of course. Even if you do nothing in social media, go to these sites and register your name and your company name. It will save you a lot of headache later on down the line. Otherwise, you'll have results popping up in really awkward places with people imitating you, squatting on names. Go to every single one of these sites and at least get your name and your business name. Yes, it is.
teach, I think you are testing your content more thoroughly than we are testing ours. And I want to know how you store, manage, and track all the data you gather.
This is a very good question. So how do I store and track the data I gather? I don't use that many tools. So I think that I look at certain things that perhaps many users don't look at. So I use pretty much Google Analytics and Crazy Egg, but there are certain things that I look at. A few things to keep in mind. I'll keep on self-promoting all up here. As long as I'm up here, I have 9 minutes left to self-promote. There's a gentleman, very smart guy named Eric Ries, R-I-E-S. He used to work at Clan Perkins. He was the CTO of a company called InView. He wrote a post on my blog called Vanity Metrics versus Actionable Metrics. So if you look at your blog or your website and you go to Google Analytics or whatever analytics tool you're using, you're like, wow, traffic went up 10%. And the marketing guy thinks it's because of the new marketing initiative. The design head thinks it's because of the new layout on the homepage. The VP of engineering thinks it's because the database has been cleaned up. Speculation. So you have data, but you're not doing much better than the person who's just guessing. You don't have a causal effect. So you want to look at, more important, is the per user numbers, average time spent on the site, the bounce rate, so the percentage of people who are just landing on the homepage and immediately leaving. Some of those metrics, per user metrics, are very important. And when you start looking at revenue, so using Google AdWords, or better yet, with most of the startups that I work with, they have using Google Website Optimizer. So Google Website Optimizer, GWO, if you search Google Website Optimizer, it's a very good tool, much more actionable and sophisticated than Google Analytics generally. If I had an in-house technical team, which some of you probably do, I would do cohort analysis. I don't want to get too far into statistics. All that means is that you're able to say, of the people who became registered users in this period of time, how many bought, let's say, and what did they spend, what was the average ticket size of the people in this group that we recruited via this particular advertising campaign, how did they behave? How do those groups differ? And then you can really target your customer acquisition strategies so that you're not misspending. But I pretty much use Google Analytics. Within Google Analytics, I also spend a lot of time looking at top refers, and I'll actually expand that view out to 100 or so, because the top will always be dominated for me by Dig, Subtle, and a few others. And that's how I found out that I've been linked to by Mark Bittman, who writes the Bittman blog, the New York Times, which is a huge thrill for me. And then I reached out to Mark for that reason. If I hadn't been looking at analytics and expanded, I wouldn't have seen that. I also look at entrance paths, most popular content, things like that. But it's not difficult, it's not time consuming for me. I look at analytics perhaps once every week or two for about 20 minutes, just to see what unusual happenings there are. There is a company that will be doing some very interesting work called KISS Metrics. So KISS metrics.com. I don't think the publicly product is out yet. It will be very soon. I know that they have it working, but that will show you some. I don't think I'm allowed to talk about it, but I would keep an eye on that website and register to get notified. So that's going to be Google Analytics on steroids kind of thing.
Larry Smith from Smith Magazine. Having survived and certainly thrived in the traditional book publishing world, and looking at an industry which is certainly a lot of confusion going through change, can you either speculate or fantasize about what change you'd like to see for book publishing to continue? I mean, it will continue, but how would you like the apple cart to be upset, and what do you think is possible?
Sure. Okay, so as far as publishing changing, there are a few things that I suspect we'll see happen. What I'd like to see happen is for publicists to work on fewer books each, because they can't currently. There are actually a lot of smart publicists out there. But how on earth are you going to promote 15 books at the same time? You cannot do what I did, splitting attention 15 books. It's impossible. But I know that's not going to happen. So I think a number of things.